Everybody, welcome back again to another episode here of MEG Academy on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for setting aside your time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Please click the like button, click the subscribe button down below. It really helps us a ton. That is how you can exchange with us, as I am trying to exceed your expectations in exchanging in abundance with you. So let's get started. This is our third part of our 5-part series for startups. As you all know, in MEG Academy, we have a Startup Accelerator program, and we spell all of this out and we live coach you through the whole entire process of going from staff therapist to successful private practice owner. Every single thing that you would run into or need to handle or do or deal with 6 months leading up to your doors opening up and the first 2 years of your startup private practice is going to be covered and handled in our Startup Accelerator program. So I want to encourage all of you, if you want to learn more, do a practice assessment with me. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I want to get into our part 3 because I want you not to live the life that I lived when I started my private practice. It was tough. I struggled. I mean, I worked 60, 70 hours a week for a long time. I was constantly at home on the weekends, physically there, but mentally thinking about my practice and what do I need to do to bring in more new patients so I can cover my bills and make payroll. It was stressful. The reason why it was stressful was in the very beginning, I lacked the knowledge. I lacked the understanding of what I needed to know in order to handle the problems, challenges, and barriers that I would be running up against. Kind of like you wouldn't get out of PT school and start treating patients and go to night school physical therapy and learn as you go. Nobody's going to do that. You're going to go to school, you're going to get education, then you're going to go to lab and you're going to duplicate what you learned in lecture, and then you're going to go on an affiliation, you're going to apply what you've learned. So we've structured the same sort of program for your benefit so that you can succeed in starting your physical therapy practice or scaling your second office, third office, fourth office, same thing. We've got multiple things in there for you to achieve what you need to achieve. But I'm having this conversation with you right now because you need to commit to that if you want to be successful in private practice. It just doesn't happen because you're a good therapist and you're going to work hard and people like you. No, it's not the case. You're a good technician. That doesn't mean you're going to be a good executive. So what do you need to know from your executive hat that you did not learn in PT school to make you successful in private practice? I'm going to cover 2 items today in today's episode, in today's YouTube segment. Item number 1, financial planning. Okay. Item number 2, physical environment. So let's talk about those. Financial planning. Typically speaking, you can open up a private practice on $35,000 to $100,000. I do not think you need to spend more than that. That has not been my experience. I've seen people spend more and it's just more of a nut to cover, right? Now, if you're buying the building or you're going into a vanilla shell and you're granite countertopping everything, you're going to run that bill up quite a bit. Depending on where you are in the country, if you're talking downtown Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, or Queens, yeah, okay, there are going to be some extenuating circumstances. But if you're not in that environment and you're not, gold layering everything you're putting in the clinic, you're going to do fine. You just need to budget for that amount of money. SBA loan is a good way to go. It will take you 60 to 90 days to get financing. Look for a certified SBA lender is my first bit of advice. You will be danced around by these other preferred lenders, these other people that are not certified or not, at the upper end who just do a bunch of SBA loans. You're just going to get danced around. So, and don't get discouraged. You can get turned down by one bank and you can get accepted by another. So banking is a real tricky thing. Do not get discouraged. I highly recommend you stay away from the big banks. The corporate banks, because you're little potatoes to them. They're looking for bigger deals, bigger fish. It's just the way it is. Your credit unions are not good either. So your local banks are typically the sweet spot. But again, ask how many SBA loans they're doing and how experienced they are in it. And if you don't like what you get there, go to the next one. There's private funding. I mean, literally, you can reach into me. I have PT owners who are doing really well, sitting on a lot of cash, and they're happy to fund your startup. They'll take a little % interest in your practice. 5 years out, you pay them off, you go away, you never even had to make a loan payment. So there are opportunities like that as well. And then everything in between. I have people opening clinics on credit card. I had a person get a credit card. They open it on a credit card. I mean, not that I recommend that. I also have people opening on lines of credit. You can get a line of credit on your home. You can roll it into the business. You can do all kinds of things. Talk to your accountant. Talk to your lawyer. I am neither of which. So there are good options. You know what is another really good option is you can actually pull money out of your 401k. You can actually borrow against yourself. So now you're not paying anybody else. You're paying yourself back, right? Oh my gosh, we got an alarm going off in the middle of our shoot. So try that. Those are your financing steps. There's many, many more details. There are cash flow projection sheets. There's business strat planning sheets that have to go into financing. I'm not going to get into the depth of that. We can surely help you with it if you need it. Environment. So here's some of my tips. If you've watched my if you've listened to my podcast, you hear me talking about personal growth ideas, PGIs, which I went over several in the beginning of this episode, and then tips for business success, which I just gave you several, and I'm going to give you some more on the environment. In terms of the environment, we want 4 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet that you're renting. We want good ingress and egress, getting in, getting out, no one-way streets, no U-turns to get to your space, not good. We need good signage, and we want something like 20,000 car count a day, if we can get that, okay? We want good public attendance. We need at least, if you're in rural America, you need at least 5,000 people within a 30-minute drive. If you're in suburbia America and other parts of the country, you're definitely wanting to get up there in terms of, 10, 20, 50,000, 100,000 people within a 30-minute drive of where you are. The more densely populated, the greater opportunity is for you to really pack the house with patients who need you and that you can provide good services with, and then they can tell others and so on and so forth. So inner city is a whole different conversation. I'm going to leave that for another topic. We can talk about inner city openings. I just don't even want to go there. Once I go down that rabbit hole, we're just going to be talking about that for the next 10 minutes. Also, in terms of environment, we want signage, we want traffic count. Like I said, we want good parking, good ingress, egress. We also want to make sure that we're on ground level if possible. If we're on second level, elevator is a must, obviously. Dedicated handicapped parking spaces for sure. And then it comes to the layout and design. Now, I do a lot of layouts and designs. I save people tens of thousands of dollars on how to lay out and design their clinics because I've done it so many times. How to economize on water, mechanicals, foot traffic, patient flow, all of those things. And I can't give you all the details on that in just this clip. But think about whether you're going to have a center entering door or an end entering door. It makes a big difference on how you set up your waiting room and what you go through. My last little tip is this. Do not be afraid to use Amazon for some of your supplies. Do not be afraid to use Amazon. You will save some money there. In terms of equipment, we have certain vendors that we like and use. We have a whole list of preferred vendors, and we will share those with you. So that's it for this week's episode. I wanted to give you some tips for business success and for professional success, and some good PGIs. I hope I've done that. Please stay tuned for the next episode, and we're going to get into even more details on how to open up and run a successful startup practice. As always, start each and every day expecting to do well.